Well, thank you. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and with the election so close right now, you know that politics are going to end up as the main course for a lot of families, right?
Is that just, we can't avoid it, right? So let's head over to somebody who can give us some good advice about keeping things sane, civilized, and the way that we want it to be for Thanksgiving. Of course, it is Mr. Manners. Thomas Farley, it has been way too long since we have talked to you because, as you know, we have terrible manners here at Good Morning Arizona, and we should be checking in with you weekly.
Daily.
It would be my pleasure. It's great to see you, Scott and Olivia. Thanks so much for having me on.
You too. Invariably, politics is always brought up, and it's okay if you can be civil about it, but it seems like nobody is anymore. So what do you do to avoid that?
Sure. So there are a few things that I recommend. For those who are invited to a Thanksgiving gathering, the studies show that people are actually avoiding saying no to going to see their family at Thanksgiving, specifically because they don't want to get dragged into these political conversations. I think that's unfortunate. And in fact, typically it's one or two kind of troublemakers who are really stirring that pot. So I say skip the arguments, but don't skip the gathering. Avoid those who you know are going to be the troublemakers, but show up because you're depriving yourself and your family of the presence and the great family conviviality that Thanksgiving truly is all about.
Especially as we've been apart for so long. But what do you do if you're the one who's standing there and somebody is saying something that is just thoroughly offensive to you? Do you engage? Do you say, excuse me? Do you pretend you didn't hear them and walk away? What do you do?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things that we can do to avoid that scenario. And it starts with the host or hostess. So I recommend that individual, the person who's having the party, if you know politics are a problem in your family, and in so many families they are, you set those ground rules right up front in the invitation. There will be no political conversation at this gathering. That way, your guests know to respect your wishes as host right up front. On the other hand, sometimes, and it's rare, but sometimes you can actually have a respectful political conversation. And in fact, if we're not ever talking politics, we don't really get to edify our own views and hear the views of others. And that's important. We don't want to live in an echo chamber. However, not everyone wants to hear it. So hosts can set up what I call the caucus room, where the political animals in the family, they can go out of earshot of everyone else. They have the conversation, a respectful one. And then when they're ready, they come back and they rejoin the family without having to hold everyone else hostage.
So I guess what you're saying is it would be bad manners if Olivia brought up politics and I threw a turkey leg at her.
Maybe you do the wishbone to see who gets to decide the candidates for next year.
Yeah, there you go.
And last but not least, what if the meal is not to your liking?
Oh, well, gosh, hopefully it is. But if it's not to your liking, this is not, we all know how difficult and challenging it is to do so many dishes. There's no meal throughout the year that has more emotions and stress attached to it than the Thanksgiving meal. So certainly bring a dish of your own, contribute to the meal. But if you don't like the turkey, or if it's too dry, you don't like the stuffing, this is not the time to become dining critic. You appreciate, you express gratitude, and make sure you thank the host for a wonderful occasion. You know they tried their best, even if their best effort wasn't quite what you had hoped for.
I guess you get on your phone and find out which drive-thrus are open on the way home. So if you're invited to somebody's home, what should you bring a bottle of wine or a gift or something?
Yeah, so I recommend highly that whatever the gathering is, and Thanksgiving certainly chief at the top of this list, you never arrive as a guest empty-handed.
Okay.
So you should have at least two things in your hand. One, a gift for the host or hostess. This is not a bottle of wine that must be opened during this gathering, but something that is for the host to enjoy after the fact. And especially for Thanksgiving, which has got so many side dishes, bring something of your own that can help contribute and alleviate that cooking load for the host. But the key is, don't bring something that's going to outdo a dish that you know someone is known for. So if your Aunt Emma does her signature cranberry sauce, don't bring the cranberry sauce yourself because you're really going to be outshining Aunt Emma. We don't want to do that.
We don't want to put anybody in a position where they have to choose their favorites.
No doubt.
Oh, lovely speaking with you, and hope to see you again soon through the course of this holiday season.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks
enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
You too.
All right.